All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hazel Senpai here. Welcome to uh, special number two, post BCS on or BCS or BSF Ontario. I've been up since 7, and I'm still not awake. So let's enjoy our Starbucks double shot energy. Yeah, let's do this. All right, this past weekend was a hell of a lot of fun. Um, yeah, I talked about the top 8 yesterday. If guys haven't checked out that video, it's up on YouTube now. So notice me, senpai. Hi, Bentu TV. How you doing? Oh man, what a weekend. Just oh, okay. So pretty much Thursday onwards. Actually, no, Wednesday. It was Wednesday up until Thursday night were the absolute most stressful uh, time ever. Just because of the pre-registration. I talked about it in the last stream, the first special episode, I guess, because we're doing special episodes until I decide to go on to number 11. Where one of my teammates had to go get their COVID booster in order to participate. So they were able to get that, and we were accepted. So that was cool. Then we had to wait for an email to give us the all clear. I need to close Chrome here real quick. There we go. Chrome is closed. There we go. So literally Thursday night, we got the confirmation email like, okay, we're good to go. And I'm like, okay, good, because I already bought the hotel, and it's non-refundable, so we got to work out. Got to the hotel Friday. My teammates showed up like 5 minutes after I did. Got situated. One of our other friends came by. We played. It was fun. A lot of language was up in the air because we didn't know if we needed to do physical deck lists just in case, but we printed some out. I did one for V just in case. So yeah, saw it on Twitter. I'm still on the waiting list, and don't know if I should go to Springfest without a check. Okay, so is your registration period closed, or is it still open? Because what they did for us was after so registration ended on the 25th for us, but they didn't send an email out until 3 or 4 days before the event. So as it gets closer to the event, you'll get an email if you've already pre-registered, and they'll say, yeah, you're good to go, or hey, your teammate blank blank doesn't fit criteria. You have until X date to get this fixed. Otherwise, your entry will be invalid. So it was extremely stressful. Yeah, it's still open because it's in 2 weeks. Oh yeah. So once registration closes, then sometime after it closes, they'll send you an email. So right now is the time where you can actually make changes. You have until registration ends to make any deck changes you need to make. Please take advantage of this time, because there were a few things in my deck I actually wish I had changed prior, but because of the registration date, I was unable to. So take this time, learn this lesson. If there's anything you feel like, oh, I might want to run this as a 2 of or a 1 of, or I need this, take advantage of it now. You can go back when you pre-registered. You probably got an email saying, "Hey, you filled out the Doodle form," and there it'll have an edit response button, so you can go back and you can change whatever details you want, or even submit a new deck code. What a weekend! Just what a weekend. So our hotel was literally right next to the event. So we didn't have to pay for parking or anything. It was so good. We had a continental breakfast. Still good. Still good. Well, I mean, the breakfast was like bare bones basic. Bare bones basic breakfast. You know, it was like, here's a singular piece of sausage patty. Here's a singular hash brown, and here's some scrambled eggs with a little bit of cheese on top. But we made these hours ago, so here you go. It was fine. I mean, it's something. Food's very important for events like this. But if you're ever at a convention center and they have food, be smart about it. Do not buy an $8 sandwich or a $6 hot dog. Don't do it. It's just a waste of money. Bring snacks if you're able to, and if you have to do what I did and have a mimic box that has snacks in it, do so, but educational purposes only. So okay, I want to talk about let's start chronologically. We're gonna talk about V. So here is the deck, and here is my matchups. Let me actually move this down just a little bit. There we go. So, honestly, okay, so my first one match up was against Trevor Edwards, who I believe was on stream yesterday, or he was in the chat yesterday. Good opponent. It was his very first event. So, and that's so cool. Like, this is the first physical event people have gone to, and it's so cool. Good sport, good guy. I wish him the best of luck pursuing Vanguard in the future. Very fun guy. People recognize me, and it's so weird, but it's one of those things I have to get used to, I guess. So round 2, I played against Jewel Knights, against what was the name? They're on Twitter, but it was a group of cosplayers cosplaying as characters from Review Starlight. They went on to play Weiss Schwarz Day 2, so really awesome. The whole team was awesome. So funny. I mean, in the pre-registration, 15 teams are required, but only 12 of them are confirmed. I did pre-register 2 weeks ago. It made I feel you on that. But weird, 15 teams are necessary. Oh wait, you're in Europe, right? Europe area. I think I remember hearing something about if there wasn't enough teams that they would just turn it into a regular the celebrity. No, I'm trying to be humble about it. But that's what it felt like all weekend. So who knows? We'll see how it goes. Hopefully you get enough players. So California, Ontario, our event was very different because our event schedule was actually changed. Originally, it was supposed to be standard format and premium format on day 1. Day 2 was Weiss Schwarz and V premium. But the internet was like, no, this is a bad idea. You don't want to have premium and standard on the same day, because this is two sides of the same dichotomy, you know? It's like you have the new, you have the fresh, you have the simple, but still fun, and, you know, it is competitive, yes. And then you have premium, which is the collective. You know, this is the one where, you know, the deck building really matters. Well, I'm not saying deck building doesn't matter in Overdose. I'm not saying that at all. Please don't take that out of context. But and I think I explained it like this to other people. So from a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective, because I used to be a Yu-Gi-Oh player, premium offers more in terms of deck building and deck building choices. So, yeah. Okay, so from that point, I think there's a greater... If you enjoy the deck building process, then premium is for you. But I won't let discount I won't let discount overdress. I won't let discount standard format. Both formats are fun. But because the internet is the internet, and I shared this too, so I'll admit, the schedule change doesn't matter to me. Personally, it didn't matter. I was going to play V in premium no matter what. It did not matter to me. But I understand collectively why people didn't like this change. People were aiming to play standard and then day 2 play V premium, which is nice. So the numbers are kind of skewed a little bit. So I'm curious what will happen in the next team league where it's standard and premium in the same day. Then day 2, yeah, Germany, we were also V and premium on the same day. Oh, wow. I mean, yeah, I think that works too. But at the same time, I don't know. There isn't really a correct answer to it. Really, there isn't. I mean, the venue we were at, if they really, I honestly think we could do 3 formats in a day. I honestly think that. Like, hand to God, absolutely. Because Vanguard's ran at, the same time limit, probably the same round count. There was enough staff. I think it's possible to do 3 in 1, and then Weiss dedicated. That way, or, but you can't really win like that. Because it's like, if you do, you have to choose one instead of going for the full weekend. So it's just, it's tough. But, this is one of those things where you have to choose what you prefer. And, not going to hate anybody for their choices. So here are my matchups. So again, the cross, that was a uphill battle, but got it. Jewel Knights, I actually had not played against Jewel Knights at all prior to this event, so I was very fortunate to have got it. Round 3 was Highlander. I have not practiced enough against Highlander, so that was that. Round 4, there was this alt mile rush deck that just threw me for a loop and just critted me so fast. Just completely, boom, gone. And then round 5, it was Isabel, and it was a long, drawn-out game. We went to time. But ultimately, I was out of heals, and I didn't have enough cards to guard. So I ended up losing that one. I don't know my teammates' records on hand at the moment. So maybe that'll be another part. Maybe. But it was interesting. I prefer how it is now. V and standard same day. Since I don't play standard currently. Yeah, exactly. I don't hate standard. The standard's fun. It can be relaxing. Okay, so what's your reason for not running Ravenhair Dazzle? Okay. So this is where I wish I had time to change. So the logic going into this deck was I want whatever grade 3 I open into, in my mind, it needs to be usable on turn 3. True, Platina isn't entirely fully usable, but it's more usable on turn 3 regardless if I Superior Road or not. So at least its first drive check can be changed. Raven, if you just normal ride to Raven, you didn't Superior Ride and just bad luck, Raven is dead. It's dead in the water. And so I figured, look, I'd rather have it be mid-range, be able to adapt to whatever situation comes up, and just go from there. But in hindsight, I wish I had put at least 2 Raven in. Moving forward, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out 1 Platina, maybe 1 Blonde, for 2 Ravens. That way I have that pressure. I can at least do that. Because there were a few games where I wish I had Raven in the deck. Maybe even just cut one Platina out for a Raven and just go from there. Because the White Lions put in the work this weekend. Like, my God. When they hit and resolve, man, it was so good. So good. There were also situations where I wish I had 4 Adlavales. Trust me, I'm not trying to be salty, but I think you should take out Percival. You know what? I think I will. Percival, like, I like Percival, but in this point, it was okay. So it was worth trying because this was the first event after the restriction list. There isn't really a way to generically search for it, so yeah, I think I will. I think I'll leave everything the same minus Percival. And that's fine. That's fine. Like, the extra draw is good, but if I'm not able to generate, my soul the way I need to, you're right. No, and you're not being salty about it. This is constructive criticism, and it absolutely works. Yeah, take out the Percival, a blonde, 2 Ravens. So you know me. I'm keeping blonde at 4. I'm keeping blonde at 4. I will take, and I'd really only want 1 Raven, but if I have to play 2, it's going to be divided with the Platinum. Bad Demagus actually put in a lot of work too. Being able to hit back row rear guards is just so good. Against the Highlander player, they had Stasia, the one that countercharges after it boosts and hits a Vanguard. I'm just like, okay, Bad Demagus, attack Vanguard and your booster, because I have 2 or more in Soul, 2 or more grade 3s in Soul, and they're like, I'll let the Vanguard hit, but I'm gonna guard for my rear guard. I'm like, okay, that's fair. So again, there were a lot of lessons to be learned. I'm definitely fixing up the deck later today. I unsleeved it, and it's all good now. It's in regular sleeves, but there definitely was a lot to learn. There were a few matchups. Again, I had no clue about. Highlander kind of they didn't high roll, but they did. They got to Nezca. They high rolled. The Alt Mile deck just came out of nowhere. Like, no one expected it. Edith. Damn good card. Like, I am almost tempted to go out and pick up the Alt Mile stuff just for testing purposes. Yo, Teen Titans 333, how you doing? And the Isabel deck was good, but again, if I had the Ravens, it would have been a bit easier to fight it. So, during day 1, a couple people recognized me, and that's cool. It's hard to high roll with Highlander when you search most of your deck and get stuff. Yeah, exactly. And Aztec just made everything work. So Bermuda with 3 attacks, whatever. 4, there you go. How was just chilling? How was Festival? Just saw Festival clutching spoilers. Yeah. The new Zorda looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna cover it in this video. This is just me talking about my decks. But the Zorda looks pretty cool. And if they are doing grade 3 revamps, thank God. Because I want to see all the ride lines get a new grade 3, or all the overdress ride lines get a new grade 3. A new Bastion grade 3 would be so good. Maybe, possibly good. Like a special, like a continuous skill that just turns everything into grade 3s. Just the guaranteed restand would be so good. Eugene, please. Yeah, new Eugene would be cool. I actually picked up a playset of Eugene's. So the second round, the review Starlight players, their player B actually hooked me up with an SP Grandazzle, and oh man, so good. Like, and I'm very grateful for it. I assigned their gift markers. I don't have a picture of that. If I do, I'll put it on Twitter, and you guys will see. But it was really, really cool because people were like, oh, you're Ezel Senpai. I'm like, yeah, yes, I am. I hope I'm everything you expected. If not, that's whatever. But yeah, definitely learned quite a bit from this. Grand Ezel really put in work too. Like, I'm just glad the deck worked. Also, I wonder if it's like last festival collection where you get one each. Maybe. I don't know. They'll reveal that later. Hopefully. Okay, so let's go ahead and go on to day 2. So day 2 was premium. Here is what we did. Let me move this down just a little bit. So now the logic going into this event for both decks was, what can I do to minimize changing cards out? So, because I didn't want to have to bring 2 separate decks to the event. I only wanted to bring just the few cards. I wanted to be as minimalistic as possible. So I brought an extra 16 cards with me. The 16 cards being the extra Percivals, the effect criticals, the original Hoels, the 2 Milligans, and then, the Strides. But really, the deck didn't change too much. It still functioned the same way as it would in V, with the added bonus of Strides, which did come in handy. But my matchups were very tough. So first round, we actually went up against the 4th place team, Team Capitalist. Pretty good team. Like, I have all their decks. I'm gonna feature them on a stream here eventually. And then I have their deck lists. I'll put those up. I think I shared 2 yesterday. I just got the Dimension Police list last night. So whenever they're all together and I'm able to have a conversation with them, I will. It's gonna be fun. But my opponent actually didn't know who I was, and I don't expect everybody to know. I don't expect anybody to know, but his teammates recognized me, and they like, I don't know, fanboyed. It was cool. So after the match, they had me sign some stuff, and it's so weird because I'm not used to signing things as Ezel Senpai. So this is here's what I did. They asked me to sign it. They told me where to sign. Let that be known. They told me where to sign, and I just signed. There's a capital L in Ezel, which was unintentional. But now that I think about it, I'm like, you know what? I like that. Maybe I'll keep doing that. My opponent had the Senpai card divider, so I thought, oh, just Ezel and just... So I felt really honored about it, and my opponent ended up actually gifted me a Platina Ezel gift marker from the memoir set, which I was like, I appreciated it. Like, it's a gift, didn't have to do it, and he was like, yeah, no, dude, like, have foil gift markers, they're really cool. I'm like, thank you, appreciate it. Hope you guys do well. If you do, I want those deck profiles. And they got to top 4. So, good enough. Like, they're all really passionate players. So, it was nice to see that they had gone as far as they did. Okay. So, round 2 were no-shows. So, round 2, apparently what happened was our opponents lost their deck. Either someone grabbed it, or someone thought someone lost their deck, like they left their deck out and someone else grabbed it and went up to the front desk and reported it lost. But they were no-shows. So, we won that one by default. Round 3, we all lost. Played against Order Mega Colony. Now, this came out in nowhere. I didn't even know this deck existed until that day. No clue. And honestly, I was just fanboying over it. while at the same time I'm chuckling. I'm just like, I am in danger. Oh man, like it was such a cool deck, and like the concept is cool, and that's like this is what premium can be. You're mixing, you know, a lot of the V support cards with something from Stoicheia from Overdress, as well as using Guilty Gradora for, you know, a Stride. And it's like a blending of the three, and it's just like, oh, so cool. It was so cool. But I ended up losing. But the one highlight of that is I resolved Agnos' skill. I only had 3 cards in hand, and I'm like, you know what? I couldn't do anything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just call everything I have from Agnos' skill and just draw 3 and hope I do well. Didn't. Oh, I mean, it helped. It helped. I was up 3 cards, but oh no, I wasn't up 3 cards because I wasn't able to drive check. But I think it lasted for. I think I survived a turn. But yeah, no, I lost. Night Rose Beatrice. Not enough people are playing Grand Blue at locals, so this was a very difficult match to play, and it just it didn't work. So round 5, I played against another Dieliner. I have it as Geomaglass, but they're Dieliners. It is pricey. It is. So all the Geomaglasses, they're all Dieliners. Geomaglass was the main thing. So I lost this. Okay, so what happened was, it was my opponent's turn. They used Dizaurus. They gave their Geomaglass an extra drive check. They had it was Dizaurus, Geomaglass, and Gale Sludge. So first attack, you know, whatever, block it, does the skill, you know, because it's strong. The Vanguard's strong enough. Geomaglass gets the extra drive. Geomaglass attacks, and the opponent does 3 drive checks. And so one thing you should never do this in tournaments is, if they make a mistake, do not correct them. You do not correct them unless it's something that, like, if they forget to do their own things, that's on them. Keep that in mind. If it's a mistake that, okay, so like it depends on the situation, right? Like if an opponent gets a card effect wrong by mistake, you know, you correct that, you call a judge, you correct that. But if they forget to do something, do not remind them. Do not remind them, because that is their fault. But I reminded my opponent, hey, you have quad drive, right? Oh yeah. Overtrader. And I'm just like, fuck. So I'm at 4, and they have 1 more attack left. It's over 100 mil. I don't have a PG in hand. It's got 2 crits. I'm just like, son of a bitch. So, yeah. You can't just be nice, be the nice guy for their... Exactly. You kind of need to know that for guard. Exactly. So it's just... So, but our opponents gave us the win after slaughtering us because they were dropping. But they wanted us to play the match just to have fun. And then they're like, yeah, no, we wanted to play the match, and we didn't want to tell you we were going to give you the match because you guys would play differently. And I understand that, and I think that was very sweet of them to do that. So it was a win, technically, but it was a loss. And then round 6 were no-shows. So we went 3-3 by losing. And no-shows. So honestly, it was just a horrible win rate. Again, if I had put the Ravens in, at least it was 1 or 2 of it, I think things would have been a bit easier. I played against a couple other people. It was fun. So I played against Atlas from Nexus Core. You know, after day 1, before day 2. and he was playing. It was Premium Blue Wave, and he got Tetra to resolve. He had Flood Hazard, and he had a bunch of stuff. He has the one of Pursuit Assault, which through Barber's Law, he always saw. So I lost to him, but then after day 2, I played against Chris from Nexus Core. Big Genesis main, like, like he is like the Genesis equivalent to me when it comes to golds. So I think that was really cool. Bad Demius really put in the work in that particular matchup, but I ended up winning that one. So I'm 2-1 against Nexus Core, so that's very fun to keep track of. Really fun hanging out with them. They were really sweet. Kept me in the loop, kept them in the loop. It was good. It was a good time. Omar, I believe, was the player who topped with PBD. I don't know if he was carried, but the deck list should be up later this week. But there was definitely a lot to learn, a lot to take in from this experience. There are just some matches that, you know, if you're not prepared for, you kind of can't do anything about it. I feel like I could have done better with the Night Rose matchup, but just curious, are those big Vanguard events team only? Just curious, because eventually I want to go to one. Okay, so how it works is in spring formats are usually teams. So you and 2 other friends can go play on a team. Otherwise, you'll have to wait till fall when it's an individual format for the World Championship. They are a lot of fun, though. Is it bad? I can't help but think what could have been if I was... You know what? Yeah. You know... It did get mentioned. It did get brought up at the end of the day because we were all just stressed, and I had to remind them. I'm like, look, there's no point in stressing about, you know, the what ifs of certain situations. This is what it is. Here's the situation. Here's how we deal with it. Move on. Because, like, having you there would have been cool. Having my friend Tim would have been cool, because honestly, Tim would have, like, swept everybody with Vanquisher. He would have. But again, because of things, he wasn't able to, and because of your things, you weren't able to. But it's all fine. You know, it is what it is, and hopefully by fall, both of you get things taken care of. If we do come back to Ontario, I hope so. If it's not you know, if we're not doing like the Kara Expo again, I hope we come back to Ontario. Ontario was a lot of fun. Definitely. The hotel was great, though. The hotel was hella good. Hella good. What else? Is there anything else worth mentioning? So here, let me pull up the decks again real quick, just so we have a good side by side. So give me just, there we go. Let me make this smaller real quick. I know, I'm covering chat. I know. So there, I'll do it like this. Premium on top, and then V premium on the bottom. Just a little bigger. All right, there we go. So again, my logic going into this is I don't want to change too many cards, because I didn't want to bring so many cards with me. So I went with a minimalist approach in terms of deck building and how to, you know, put things out. I gotta get back on my YouTube grind. Some people that recognize me next, maybe. I don't know. I'm just humble about it. I'm not going around saying who I am, but if people recognize me, I'm like, yeah, yes, I am. It's very humbling, and it makes me want to do more. But if you're trying to pursue it just for the clout, then maybe it's not for the right purposes. Like, networking is important. Don't get me wrong. Networking is important, but there's a line. There's a line where it's like, oh yeah, hi, I'm Vanguard Wonder. Nice to meet you. Versus, yo, do you even know who I am? Nah, never just for the clout, but just for fun to think about. Yeah, I know, exactly. And that's fine. And like that's good. Like, I introduced Mikey to Nexus Core, and he did a good job. He did a decent job. He mentioned who he was. He was a fan. He also plugged his Twitter, and he did all right. He did all right. I think there were maybe a few moments where he kind of took it a little too far, but again, who am I to tell people what to do, what not to do? But this was a very fun event, and I'm looking forward to see how the rest of Springfest goes with the other schedule in mind. Because so Premium had, Standard had 67 teams. V Premium had 26 teams, and Premium had 47 teams. So there were more Premium teams than there were V Premium teams. But the reason V Premium was so low was because Standard had so many. There were some discrepancies about teams being denied, but so keep in mind that when Bushiroad is doing the pre-registration system, they only allowed players teams who pre-registered. Walk-ins were accepted, but they were not able to participate in the event because they didn't have the physical deck lists available. I think if they just so happened to have had the deck lists available, it would have been fine, and maybe the V Premium numbers would have gone up. But again, we cried about the schedule, and it got changed. And again, it personally, it doesn't affect me, but I see where it affects other people. Like, so again, my opinion about the Standard and Premium on the same day is, again, this is two sides of competitive play. One's more I'm not saying one's easier to play, but I'm saying that Standard is Standard. It's also Standard's very first physical event here in the US. So keep that in mind too. So obviously it's going to be more popular. While at the same time, Premium is more for the deck builders, more for the fine tuning, the elaborate jank. So I think they're opposites of the same extreme, and I think if you had both of them at the same day, I don't think the results would have been good. So I think throwing V Premium in there may have been smarter, but I understand that people don't like Premium, and so they only had to choose between Standard and or V, and they chose Standard because Standard is Standard. So I'm curious to see how the data shows for these other regions. Maybe ultimately we can get a graph. That's an idea. That is an idea. You know what? I'll message somebody about that. Maybe we can get that data in. Yo, what's going on? We're talking about my experiences with Springfest. I'm showing off the decks that I played and the lessons I learned and how horribly I got my butt whipped. So, woo! Take the diagnostics class just to correctly gather the data. So I stayed behind both days to report what was in top 8. Standard was actually pretty easy because, it's just the ride lines. V Premium was generally easy because it was just by clans. There were certain things I couldn't see. They section off the top 8 in a way where you can't interact with the other people. Like, you could see 2 teams on either side play. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's a third of the information that you're trying to get. So it was very chaotic trying to peer over people's shoulders and stand on your tippy toes and try to figure out what people are playing and without interrupting them, because the judges were like, no, you gotta shut the hell up, you can't interact with these players, they're like in a whole other world. So there were obviously, like, because I submitted everything, like Daredale asked me to tell him first, so I did. And then I guess he relayed that information to Fuzzy Paradox, which is fine. I think next time I'll go directly to Fuzzy and go from there. But I mean, so it's really interesting to see. There were some mistakes, but the clans I got correct. The clans I got 100% correct. It was the specific builds that were off. And for Premium, it was a little more difficult because you don't know what the hell's going on. So I did my best to figure out what it is. And obviously there's margin of error because this was the first time of me doing this. And, some people throw jank in there. They're literally on prayer now. They can't relate to our E-Vanguard problems. Exactly. I do wish that the Bushy staff had top 8 information available, like, as top 8's going on. But I understood that they're like, well, we're trying to focus on standard at the moment, so. A new tweet, stream element. Ooh. Check out this stylish swag from... No stream elements. I don't want to see that. I appreciate it, but no. Make me lose my train of thought. So I wish that they had the top 8 available. Maybe if they had a few more people, then that would be possible. There may come a time where I decide to volunteer, or maybe even take the judge test, just so I could properly record what is topping and let people know. That might be an idea. Or maybe, since Bushiroad US HQ is here in California, literally an hour away, maybe I could do, I don't know, like a mediary guy, someone to bridge the gap between players and the game, physically. Someone at least from the US at least for the US Bushiroad staff. And maybe they could have a position. It does sound like Matt's job, but no, I mean physically, because I know Matt's in Singapore. But I mean like a player a physical representative to bridge the gap. To make things easier for Matt and make things easier for these people, specifically for the US. Because nothing I can do about Europe because I don't live in Europe or the UK. So, President of the US. Oh man. Oh, I'm pretty sure Bushy wouldn't hire me unless I had a bachelor's degree. I don't want to go back to school. And I approved this message. It was fun though. It was a very fun weekend, and so after round 6, I actually got to play around with another team. They were a team of cosplayers who were, I think they were cosplaying. I'm not quite sure, but I cosplayed, or I cosplayed. I played against Their name was Tempest. They're on Twitter, and it was an Ezelmir match. And if you followed me on Twitter, I retweeted it, and we were talking about like deck choices, card choices, deck lineup, and all that stuff. And we were just shooting the shiz. It was so much fun, and it was interesting to see the unique take some people have versus others. And like overall, I learned quite a bit. So apparently there is some interesting things to use with the Overtrader that I eventually want to try. But oh man. But I don't know if it's worth taking Ultima out, but I kind of want to try. So I don't want to spoil it because it might not be an idea to share just yet. It was their idea. I don't want to do that. But, honestly, this event was good. Like, I think there may have been one instance of someone stealing something, but or it was something went missing and it got returned. Because normally we have to keep, pay attention to all of our stuff. But this time, like, it was good. No, there were no reported thieves, so that's good. Another issue that came up that I noticed was am I gonna be able to get the gift markers picture? I just might. We'll see. A friend of mine who did all that definitely just sent me a message. Yeah, I still remember when Sean's Murkimo died. Oh, yeah, that sucked. You gotta keep your stuff close. If you're sitting down and you're playing, you keep your bag between your legs, not off to the side, not behind you, in between your legs. You'll definitely know if something goes on. Better safe than sorry. So one issue was, and I posted about it on Twitter, as a poll. It was whether or not excessively lewd art should be acceptable, or how I worded it is this cringe? So there were some examples and that I put up like as the hypothetical, and a lot of people agree, but there's also a lot of people who disagree and say do what they want. And there's a lot of people who almost copy paste. At home, sure, or with your friends, sure, but if you're in public, no, put your hentai mat away. So that apparently was an issue on the Weiss Schwartz side of things. I think there was maybe a few people on the Vanguard side as well, who judges actually had to be like, hey, you got to change your sleeves and playmat because that's not appropriate. They're kids here. So I don't know if Bushy needs to do not quality assurance, but like, hey, keep it PG-13. There are kids here. Or there could be kids here. Let's just keep it appropriate and professional. Yo, what's going on? We're just talking about Springfest and my matchups and how I got whooped. I got bent over without lube. And trust me, Charlie, you're going to want the lube. And just kind of overall, the whole experience. Okay. So they sent me a link for the Weiss stuff, so that's cool. Do I have a... Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, so in order, and what do you think of the new Zorga and the new order from Festival Collection? I like it. I hope that all the other ride lines get a new grade 3 form. Or at least all the ones in the anime get a new grade 3 form. Really hoping so. I really want a new Bastion that isn't Prime or regular Bastion. A new Bruce would be cool. I don't really have much of an opinion on it. They look cool. I'll be honest with you. The last person I expect to hear. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, wait. Also, do you like hot stamp starters? The hot stamp starters are pretty cool. Bent over. Yeah, look. Do I have to find it? It's a quote from 2.5 Men. It's where Charlie is imagining he's at his friend's funeral, and he like spaces out, and he sees his friend talking to his dead friend, and the friend's like, "Yeah, I'm in hell. I could be here for a bit, but I gotta be back by 3. Otherwise, they use the pitchforks." And trust me, you want them to. You're gonna want the loop. But no, that's what it felt like to go against Order Medicolony. I had no idea how to play against it, so here I am fanboying like Ralph White, be like, "Yeah, I'm in danger." Well, ultimately, yeah. Oh man, like, do I still have that card in here? Do I still have it here ready? Do not. Oh well, that's fine. But the event was fun. I don't know how many times I've said that. The event was fun. People recognized me. It was fun. I didn't do any photo ops, which was interesting. It might be for the better, minimize the risk of getting canceled for whatever reason. Although I had a fun idea with the cosplayers, with the Review Starlight cosplayers, because they have like little staffs and swords and stuff, and just I want to get myself a little whiteboard and just caption it, have them point their weapons at me and just be like, "Band overtraders and premium weapons," like that Disney meme. That would be fun. That'd be fun. So yeah, that's it. That'll do. That was my weekend. We'll figure out what else to do next time. But this was part 2 of the special, because apparently I'm doing specials now. But I think that'll do. I covered everything: deck list, matchups, drama, lube. I think we're good. All right, everybody. You guys have yourself a great day. Remember, stay safe, stay humble, go get vaccinated, and at least don't wear your face mask. Keep wearing it. Like, things are getting better, but just when you're in public, just go get your face mask, go get vaccinated. The science is there. Just do it. So we can all just move forward. But whatever. Just be a decent human being, wear a face mask. All right. You guys have a great afternoon. Peace out.